All right, I will go ahead and introduce the individual who will be announcing the winners of this year's 2019 Patagonia Case Competition, as well as making a few closing remarks as we reflect on the journey it has been, more than just the 10 minutes you spent pitching today. And with that, we'd like to welcome Birgit Cameron to the stage.
Awesome. Wow. What a day. I'm totally exhausted. To be truthful, we are a transparent company. And mainly because I think what is so unbelievably incredible about this case competition is the amount of brain power in this room. I mean, it's really phenomenal. And it is so indicative of the way we like to work, because at Patagonia, it's like this exhausting think tank at all hours. We're always trying to put different teams together, have diversity in our thinking. And what's so beautiful about this is it sort of emulates that, right? That we get these great minds working together from multidisciplinary areas, and also just cross-functional thinking, and it really makes a difference in what that outcome ends up being. So welcome to the Patagonia way, and thank you for all the effort that you've put in. This case competition is really important to us because it actually does, as Robert was alluding to earlier today, we're starting to see, the ripple effect of having these cases happen over the years. What has radiated out from these ideas that have germinated here, and things are being put to action, and there's just no greater problem to solve right now, I think, than the plastics issue, right? I mean, we see it. National Geographic did the big spread this year. So many reasons to be tackling this problem, and our mode is really that to work on a system, you have to be fully engaged in it, and you have to take the good and the bad within that system in order to understand the nuances to be able to really solve that problem. And so unfortunately, it does mean that Patagonia Provisions packaging is terrible. We own that, and we know that. And we engaged in it eyes wide open and challenged this group around this because we knew there was a huge problem to solve. And today we saw so many solutions that we feel like we can mine into. And that gives us hope. I think, the one thing I do want to say before we get into getting down to the finals, is really this idea of what do we take away for the future, right? I think, so in the 60s when we had all of this great plastics stuff emerging, and there was The Graduate, the movie The Graduate, maybe nobody knows about that here, right? On this campus, filmed on this campus, right? The dad, or one of the friends of the dad, whispers into the ear of the graduate, and he says, plastics, right? And here we are, in the 2000s. Really, this is a problem, right? This is a huge problem. And so what is the takeaway now for this generation of graduates? The takeaway is finding solutions, right? Innovating, uncovering every rock. Your future out in the world, the real world, lies in finding solutions and implementing solutions to the environmental crisis. And it is the way that we can collectively save our home planet, right? Yvonne says at the end of Unbroken Ground, our movie, all these people moving in the same direction, you can't believe what we can accomplish. And that gives me goosebumps every time, because that's what this action is about. So if there is one takeaway for you guys going out into the world, whether you come and work for Patagonia or whether you go out on your own, find businesses, find elements of what you're doing that solves the problem of climate and plastic issues and really creating a better future for the next generations. So on that note, a lot of you guys brought up some really great things. So I wanted to sort of go into, in these 10 big, heady groups here, and in no order, I just wanted to kind of really go through maybe some of the things that came up. I felt like, well, we all deliberated and felt like it was difficult. Robert kept banging on the door saying, please, and we kept saying, please, one more minute. But, interesting concepts. Georgia, closed loop and refill. We've often talked about, those kinds of things. What would that look like? Bulk buying and refills and closed loop solutions. UCLA, amazing customer engagement, the app, those kinds of things. Great customer-facing educational pieces. That's a huge part of this, and we loved the salmon swimming through the garbage patch image. There's nothing like that to sear why we need to do this, make these changes. So thank you for that. The polar bears, U of T, way to go. Thanks for coming down here. Coming down. Great nod to Warnware, on your presentation of how do we keep reusing this. Excellent thinking around that, make it into a handle. What can others survey? I thought your little video of surveying each customer that was coming in about this, that was really great. That field work is so important in finding these solutions. Duke, wow, stories behind the containers. I like that a lot. We like that. This nod to Warnware again, where there's a journey that this reusable container has been on, and there is a really some viable thinking around that. We see it in the ice cream world, these reusable containers, and in other, so great adoption. We had, MIT fully thoughtful on all the different layers, and that was good. And the patch, wow, really innovative thinking. Let's see, Notre Dame, hemp and algae, right up our alley, right? We've been pushing the boundaries on hemp. When can we get hemp out? Now it's regulated. I think there's a lot that's going to be circulating in the next little while on innovations around hemp for sure, and algae as well. Texas, yes we can. I like that. You gave us a line. That's a good one. I think that thinking is really great because it's going back in order to go forward, and we often talk about that, right? Sometimes we don't need to reinvent or re-engineer. We certainly talk about that for the natural world. Mother Nature has it down. Why do we need to do that? There's certain things we've already invented. The fact that aluminum cans are, the aluminum we're using is still in circulation, or much of it, from when it began in our system. So really interesting there. Dartmouth, seaweed, seaweed it's a pretty cool solution, and a lot of properties to explore on that. I really think from a food side and getting Americans to like eating seaweed to what can it do in terms of some sort of film or casing. Super good in-depth information there. Michigan, sonication, I love that. It was the first time I've seen actually somebody really take apart a retort package like that. That's really, that packaging is the bane, right? It's just so complicated, and it does make me feel like, gosh, we really should go back to cans because even though that's convenient, it may not solve that. It's not for the basket that we want to take into the future. And Cal, great. I love the little video. We loved that. We were, the idea of the hungry bears and edible food. I like that too. A little together thing there. Deposit idea, dissolvable pods. Very interesting thinking, and there has been a lot of research around those things. So, am I missing anybody? Did I leave anybody out? Was that 10? I just wanted to, because every single one of you had something to bring to the table here that was tremendous. So we thank you for that. So on that note.
If you're about to announce, could we ask the Patagonia friends, could you kindly go up to the stage? Because as Birgit announces, this is going to be the moment. I'm going to ask you to come up.
Okay. I also want to, again, thank Robert and his amazing team and the folks at Patagonia and just everybody putting this together, and all of you who traveled from afar to get here. Huge kudos, and putting your teams together and making this effort, certainly from the bottom of my heart and others here. We are really grateful for the effort that you've put in here. So thank you so much. All right. Well, should we do it? Okay. So in third place, largely because we found some very interesting science in there. Solution that was really kind of new and fresh. We know there's a lot of work to do with it on the food side. Very good. And a little tie into the national parks, which we love, that nod to the national parks. Michigan, we'd love to. I think Phil and Molly really want to duke it out over some science and get some heady conversation happening around. Again, there's some really good thorough answers there. Okay, so second place, really wanting to go deeper on this one. I think that there's some excellent thinking about the idea of edibles, and would like to mine into that. It's definitely an area that we'd like to look into. I guess the subscription idea, and the idea that there would be these sort of multi-packs with these edible pieces, edible pods, I think was really interesting, and something that we can take a next step conversation on. For sure, mining into that science, though, I think would be the next step on it. So, Cal, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. One of the things I should mention too is that third place is a prize of $2,500 to that group. Second place is a prize of $5,000 and a trip to the Patagonia headquarters. So we'll see you all down there. And first place is $15,000 prize and a trip to Patagonia as well. And when we have you all come down, we do really love to get into some brainstorming session as well. So that's part of it, and that's a real delight for us to be able to then uncover any next steps that could arise out of those conversations. So first place, well, this was the team that made Phil say, wow. And it was really fully thoughtful. Again, the layers I felt could be applicable to Patagonia provisions, and then there was a solution also here for the apparel side. And I think that was one of the big challenges, was the idea of really being able to, in this case, straddle both worlds, apparel and food. And MIT, you did a great job at doing that. So I'm pretty sure we've got some long root wit and a long root ale for you guys to take advantage of now. I'm going to pass the mic to our lovely Robert, and thank you so much.
Well, you know, when you announce that there's beer, that my 90-minute speech just went down to a little bit shorter here. I am excited and so grateful. And I, Phil, this morning, you mentioned my love for the Nordics. And I was up at 5 in the morning, happily this morning, working on this book, Sustainable Vikings. Yes. And talking about the Sustainable Development Goals. And the Sustainable Development Goals, by every measure, the Nordics are on top. Sweden is #1 in the world. Denmark #2, Finland #3, according to Jeffrey Sachs. But Phil said, Sweden's consuming 4 planets. And I'm afraid to say the U.S. is consuming a hell of a lot more than that. So there's a lesson here. And I look also to a Swede, Greta Thunberg, the young Swede who's leading the climate change movement. And she's protesting outside of the Swedish parliament. The #1 most sustainable country in the world is getting protests outside. And why is it? Well, it doesn't matter if you're #1 in the world when everyone needs to improve, and rapidly. And I look to Patagonia as this leader, top, best in class, and even Patagonia needs to improve. So how do we do that? Looking to the Nordics, looking to Patagonia. We need collaboration, we need openness, we need collaboration, we need building of trust, we need to foster a community and a movement. And I see this case competition as being just that. So like that young Greta Thunberg, who's helping to catalyze a movement, we are building a movement here. And that, quite frankly, for these wonderful solutions that are coming out from this competition, as important as those are, and they are so important, it is this movement and fostering of a community that we're part of, where I really see the greatest potential to come from all this. And I am so personally grateful to be part of this incredible movement, of this competition, and in this community. And I would like to say thank you, and please join me in saying thank you so much to our good friends and colleagues, Patagonia here as well as out there. Please stand up, all of our Patagonia friends who are joining us here today. Please stand up. Thank you. Sincerely, thank you. And we have our Center for Responsibility staff and the incredible student volunteer workers. Please stand up. Make yourself. And I need you to stand up for just a little bit longer, Emily. Emily. I mean, you are the reason why this runs the way it does. Thank you so much. And you all, the student participants, for what you put into this. Please join me. Thank you all so much. And Birgit, you beat me to the punch a little bit, but then just my favorite thing to say. The bar is open, everyone. All right.
Our top 3 teams, come on to the side. We have another treat for you. Our top 3 teams. Thanks.